I grew up on sci-fi action movies, horror movies. Those are the things that were really important to me as a kid. Those are things that made me want to be a filmmaker. Whether it's Aliens or Terminator or Alien or Blade Runner or E.T. or The Road Warrior, all of that stuff. Action movies, Raiders of the Lost Ark, things like that, Rambo movies, and that kind of thing. Um, so I to have a script that came across my desk that had all of these really big sci-fi action elements and play at the scale that this thing played at, and be an original movie, not tied to a brand, not tied to anything else, that also had as much sort of like heart, a character, had an emotional character study story, in the middle of it, to have a story about fathers and sons and fathers and daughters. The fact that it could put those two things together organically, to me, was a dream come true, because that's exactly the kind of films that I want to make. I always knew that there had to be a way to make genre movies that also made you feel something, that also were as powerful as something like It's a Wonderful Life. In animation, you do a lot of previs, you do a lot of layout, you do storyboards and animatics, and so the practice, the routine of making an animated movie is to do all of this pre-work before you do all this stuff before you animate. You do all this stuff to get ready to go into the animation phase, and the way that you do this stuff to get ready to go on set. So very practice and that kind of thing. And I think it's just it helps you decide what things are working, helps you decide what things aren't working. I would record the table read of the actors, and then I'd use that with the storyboards and sound effects and music, and create an animatic that had the actors actual voices in it, and create previs that had the actors actual voices in it, so that when you're watching it, it feels like the movie. It feels like a version of the movie. So you can start to make really intelligent decisions from a story perspective, from the amount of shots that you need, from whether a stunt is not working or isn't big enough, or is it feels like a little too much for the kind of movie that you're doing or whatever. So yeah, you can make a lot of decisions ahead of time. The script itself was not funny. There was no jokes or no moments of that kind of levity in the script. It was very it was all the action and all the plot and all that stuff, and the emotional things, the emotional aspects of the movie were there, but not the comedy. And so I knew right away that the movies like this can kind of fall into a self-serious sort of thing, and I didn't want it to do that. So I made sure that we cast people like Sam. Sam was part of my pitch. The pitch to the studio was, here's how I want the movie to look, and practical sets and practical locations and all of these kinds of things, and colors and film references, and it's sci-fi, It's a Wonderful Life, and all that. And the last panel is, and by the way, even if you don't hire me, hire this guy, Sam Richardson, as Charlie. He will do a great job. He will generate comedy. You'll create a great connection with Chris. You'll have moments of levity with this guy, and so to me, it was like important for me even before I got the job.